Cool.
Welcome. These sessions will be recorded. I'm pleased you could join us for the Business Education Resilience webinars with 1917. My name is Pauline Marquardt, and I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce, which is made up of members with common interests and concerns related to the business environment in the Bowie area. It is the primary professional trade organization in the Greater Bowie area dedicated to the protection, enhancement, and success of business in the Bowie community. The COVID-19 Business Recovery Assistance Program delivers online technical assistance to help Bowie businesses accelerate their post-pandemic economic recovery. This program is a collaboration between the Greater Bowie Commerce and the Bowie Business Innovation Center Business Accelerator and funded by the City of Bowie. During the webinar, it is best to be comfortable with your video on. Remember to mute yourself. Please ask questions through the chat unless otherwise directed. And I'd like to welcome William Eric Lindsay, Senior Business Counselor of 1917. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you, Pauline, for that great introduction. And tonight is our 12th webinar out of this first section of the series. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get right into it. Glad to see everyone here. Glad everyone's here. Good to see everyone again. So again, just go ahead and unmute yourself whenever you have a question, or you can type your question in the chat. Pauline's going to monitor that for me, and then she'll read the questions out. So as mentioned, Thursday, March 25th, this is our final webinar. And tonight we're going to be talking about tying it all together. We've done 11 webinars, and tonight we're going to do our best to bring it all into some kind of cohesive process for you. So let's just get right into it. So I want to do a quick recap of where we've been from January all the way to end of March. So we started off with goal setting and monetizing your goals. And how we did that process was, we talked about personal goals and your business goals. We talked about your long-term goals. We talked about your short-term goals. We talked about the process of identifying very specifically what those goals are. And I encourage everyone to go ahead and write those down. You have a higher probability of actually achieving those goals once you write those goals down. And at the same time as you writing those goals down, you want to monetize your goal. So for example, if you say, my business goal is to, the reason why I'm starting my business is to, make sure that, for example, my kids go to college. Okay, well, depending on how many kids you have, or nieces or nephews or anything like that, that you're going to fund someone's college. All right, well, put a price on that. How much does a 4-year college look like? Do some research on that, and then put a number to that goal. And then your next goal, let's say you want to do a yearly travel with family, a 2-week vacation or a 10-day vacation. Great. Find out where, ask the family, find out where they want to go. And then, as the parent and family, you can say, no, we're not going there. And then you monetize that goal. You put a price on that and say, well, how much, just do some research, find out how much plane tickets or travel tickets, or how, if it's to drive, how much gas does it cost, and the hotels and all that kind of stuff, and then monetize that 2-week vacation. So that's your goal. So now you know how to build your business towards that goal. And now you have a number, and you monetize all your goals, and you build your business towards that number. And you continue doing that, throughout your business, and just keep doing those things. So once you have your goals, then we move to the business planning. I call it just get it in writing. Just as much as we talked about goal setting, writing it down, you also want to translate that into a business plan. So there's a lot of different, there's a lot of variety on your business plans. I've heard business plans, the 1-page business plan. I've heard of that concept. I've heard of a 5-page business plan. I've heard different types of business plans. The business plan that I think works best for you is the one that works best for you. Okay, bottom line. I also look at it, if you really want to know what a good business plan looks like, talk to a banker, because they look at business plans to fund the businesses. Ask a banker and say, hey, if I present my business plan to you, what type of business plan would you need to see? What are the basic elements you're looking in there? I have a whole different template for business plans. And one of my favorite parts about the business plan, we start with the end in mind. This is where last week we talked about exiting your business plan. So we talk about that, in the beginning. So write your business plan as robustly as possible. Don't skip anything out. You can take that business plan and then do a 1-page overview of your business plan or a 5-page overview. That's just my recommendation. You're going to have different recommendations from different folks out there, but my recommendation is dive deep in your business plan. I've never heard of anyone over planning and not succeeding. I've heard people under planning and having a lot of problems. So just think of that for a minute. The point is just to get it in writing. Write it down. Make sure that you have a document. Make sure you spend time with it. Make sure you bring it to different folks to do your financial projections, to do your budgeting, to look at your sales process, to look at your marketing process, look at your exit strategy, even look at your website design. That should be part of some of your sales and marketing techniques. You want to look at your mission, your vision, your culture statement. What sort of individuals are you going to have on your team? Okay. So take the time to write out that business plan. Take the time to really be very thoughtful in that process and be with intent. Have an intentionality around that process. But the main point there was write it down. That's the best thing I would say. Then we talked twice about financial literacy. And the reason why we broke those into two is because we started off with knowing the lingo. That's kind of the theme I got from that particular webinar. Knowing what these terms are. What does profit and loss mean? What does balance sheet mean? What is a cash flow sheet? All those terms. We can get them in certain software, but you definitely want to know how these terms work, right? Or how these terms are defined and how they work in a business. Then you can put that all together. So you definitely want to understand the lingo. In that lingo conversation, we also got into what the documents look like and what it kind of goes, what feeds into those documents. So those documents, we call them artifacts. So it's like sort of the financial artifacts of your business. So you definitely want to understand your data collection and what goes into your business, how to capture that information so you can create these artifacts. Because again, we went into the next one, the financial literacy, knowing your numbers. The numbers tell the story. That's one of my favorite phrases. I can look at your numbers and say, you made $10,000 last month. That's just a data point. But if you look at, for example, the trends of your business, you look at, what happened last year in COVID, and we're still in the pandemic, and it seems like we're slowly coming out of it in terms of businesses are starting to open up. The government of Maryland and DC and Virginia, they're starting to allow places to have a little bit more people enter those places, and even some businesses are opening or reopening. You definitely want to know the narrative of your numbers. You definitely want to understand, well, over the past 3 years, I made $10,000 a month evenly. Okay, well, there's a story there. It's consistency, but it's also a story. Why did that happen? What's the narrative? Was it the weather? Was it someone you hired? So you always want to make sure that you again, the lingo, but you also know the story behind the numbers, because that's really cool. There's always a great story there. And then you went into financial projections. You grow your numbers. This is where you start watering your tree. Your numbers is a tree, your business is a tree. So you certainly want to understand growing your numbers and how that works. Your financial projections obviously is about the future. So we talked in there about doing your 1-year projection. And then we talked about 3-year and 5-year projections. And then we also talked about looking at, whenever you do a projection, you certainly want to look at best case scenario. If all of your assumptions were amazingly good, right? On the high end, on your most optimistic level, what would that financial projection look like? Then you have your pessimistic level. If certain things occurred, worst case scenario, your pessimistic level, what will your financial projections look like? And then you have your middle part. or you're sort of like most optimistic or middle optimistic, or you're average in between? What would happen if things were just sort of quote unquote normal? What would those projections look like? You then you then do your financial projections on those 3 or 4 different areas. So, because again, that's also part of your business planning and the risk part of the business planning aspect. So you want to look at your financial projections in that regard for your business. Then we got into PPP and EIDL. Extremely complicated, I thought. And again, it's not, but sometimes it is, because there were some changes in the PPP and the EIDL. Even after that webinar, there were changes in the PPP and the EIDL program. The good thing is, he's coming back, Roderick's coming back in the second section that we'll talk about later. He's doing another PPP and EIDL presentation, and to talk about the changes, to talk about what's happening, because there's still as of today, there's still a lot of money left over, and the banks are they're processing a lot of the applications for businesses to apply for PPP, especially mainly PPP. But there's a lot of money out there. So if your business is in a position to apply for that particular pot of money, then go for it. Now, with the PPP, if you go backwards in the presentation, financial projections, financial literacy, and business planning, those are the things you need to apply for your PPP. So this is why we did it in this order, the programmatic approach. You still have to have your financial projections. You still have to have your cash flow balance sheet, all your financial paperwork in order, all your financial artifacts. Because these are questions that they will ask you. And even when you receive the money, you still have to be accountable for that money to make sure you're using it within the legal bounds of that loan. So you certainly want to be doing that. And then we went into managing you and your team. We're looking at self-health. Cassie did a great presentation there. She talked a whole bunch of different things in terms of the health of yourself and your team and things like that. So that was really cool. That was a fun one. We also then talked about equity and valuation, how to add value to your business. So when we talked about equity and valuation, we also talked about looking at it from a home improvement perspective. So if when you add things to your house, you add value to your house. When you upgrade your kitchen, for example, maybe your basement, your master bedroom, master bathroom, things of that nature, you add a new deck or you upgrade the roof, you're adding value to your house, which means you increase equity. So in your business, it's along the same, it's a similar situation. When you add a process to your business, okay? When you add like an SOP to some of the things that you do in your business, you streamline your business. Okay, when someone buys your business, they don't have to do anything. It's turnkey. You just go in there, sell your company, and then they just keep running it as is. And again, that has a lot to do with the people in your business. You want to make sure you hire some of the folks in your business. You want to make sure that you have a good team on board. So those are just a few things that can increase your equity and business valuation. You want to add value to your business. Then before we got to exiting, we talked about sales and marketing. Dr. Levin was just amazing. She's going to be back again in the second section. She offered a whole ton of information on how to get, leads into your sales funnel, qualified leads in your sales funnel. She gave a lot of healthy and wealthy tips, I have to say, in that presentation. So, she talked a lot about just understanding your target market, understanding, who will buy from you. That's something that we talked about in the business plan. Who's not who you're going to sell to. You can sell to everyone, but not everyone will buy from you. But you certainly want to be in a position where you understand who will buy from you so you can market to those prospect buyers versus marketing to everyone, but not everyone's going to be your prospect. So you certainly, and she talked about the different processes and what she uses in her company. And she actually gave out her email and her contact information and also a Facebook group that you can actually join at no cost. And she will give you all that information, and she has a whole team that works together at putting that together. So that was the sales and marketing. And then we talked about exiting your business and the next phase of life. I don't like the word retire. I like because it's a phase. It's what are you going to do next? You know, it's just what are we going to do next in our lives? So that pretty much, exiting your business, we start with the end in mind. Okay, we start with, what is your business going to look like in 10 years? How are you going to exit your business? Are you going to retire? Well, do the next phase of life. Are you going to get checks out of your company once a month, once a quarter, once a year? Are you going to sell the company outright? So if you sell your company, you obviously have to build equity and valuation to increase the sales price, quote unquote, of your company. Would you be a consultant to your company? That reduces your time in the company. So you talk about the relationship between you and your company. What relationship will you have in terms of looking at your future and what you will do in the next phase of life? So that was a really quick recap, on the last, 11 weeks of information that we have. And hey, Pauline, could you put in the chat where all these videos are? Because all of the webinars were recorded, and there's a website that you can go to. It's a YouTube page. And if you can put that in the message board for me and share that link with everyone, that way everyone can take a look at it. And you can go back and watch the videos and just, take notes if you missed the video or whatever. Or leave a comment and get some resources, especially with Dr. Levin. I call her Dr. T, Terry. She's real cool. Go back to especially that one, because she gives out a whole bunch. Kessie gives out a whole bunch of information. Charles Mott gave out a lot of information. Manny Cosme talked a lot about information in there. And then we had the food industry expert, Carolina, who talked about pivoting in the food industry. That's something that we also talked about. And those videos are up there. And, definitely in the food industry, they took a huge hit during the pandemic. And I can tell you, Carolina was really busy working with a ton of restaurants in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and just working with these restaurants to find out and find ways to shift. They couldn't bring people into the restaurant, so they had to lay staff off. They had to reduce their overhead. So obviously, how do you keep the business growing? How do you even stay alive at that point? So, you obviously shift to, online orders and food delivery, and then you change your menu and you change your overhead. You change your services and things like that. And, there's a lot of human resource issues in there as well. So Carolina really covered a lot of questions in that webinar. That's also a really good one to look at. So, with Manny Cosme talking about the projections. And again, I'm also going to talk a little bit more about what's coming up in the next section. So this is generally some of the themes that were in the first section of the first 11 webinars that we've done, and today being the 12th. Anyone would like to maybe share a memory or something that stood out for them personally in those webinars? Don't be shy.
I guess for me, two things. One, when we're talking about the business plans, writing it down, and establishing your goals. And then the last one we did, exiting your business, you never think of that. So that's something that's definitely something I'm planning, as I'm developing my plan and everything.
All right, Charles. No, thanks for sharing that. Definitely appreciate that. Mary Ann?
I am late to the game, and I thank you for the recap and also where to find these pieces. I work with a lot of small businesses, and as I heard you talking about and recapping each one of them, I was like, oh, I could think about each one of my clients that could actually use portions of that. So that's really good for me. Thank you.
Oh no, thank you. And please, do share the information with them. That's what we're here for. And we have the second section where I'm going to talk about, invite them to the next series of 12 webinars. Well, 13. We'll get into what the 13th one looks like.
their comment usually is, Marianne, we don't have time to go to these webinars. Thank you for going to them and telling us what to do.
In that case, charge her more. Oh, wow, because it's worth it. So
And I've been around for them all, and my main takeaway is write it down.
there you go. Yep. And then my takeaway, especially for the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce, is one of the goals that the president of the chamber, Terry said was he wants to increase the membership by 5%. And that was, I think, by this August. So hopefully with everything works out, August we'll see a 5% increase in the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce membership rolls. So that's one goal that Terry was talking about. So let's see how the board pulls that together. I'm rooting for you guys. So let's just keep it going. So again, this is about tying it all together. So one of the things that we're going to talk about, let's say the next maybe 30, 45 minutes, and this is interactive, so please just jump in at any time. I want to give you, with your permission, I want to give you a 1-year plan of action, but I want to also talk about sort of like a process to create this 1-year plan of action. So we've gone through all these webinars. You have your separate notes. Now we're gonna combine everything and create this 1-year plan, for example. So this is sort of a process that one process I use. And this is going to be a verbal, but take notes and write it down, what comes to you. So write down, obviously, again, business planning, write it down. So we're going to write down what the thoughts that come to you, which are important for you for every step. So we're going to start with asking yourself, where do you vision yourself March of 2022? Where do you see yourself 1 year from now? For example, 1 year from now, next year, what would be your revenue goal for your business? Just write that down. Where do you want to be geographically in 1 year? Do you want to be working from home? It's probably a good idea because overhead is amazingly low. Do you want to hire more people for your company? Do you want to have 2 more people? Do you want to have 10 more people? Do you want to have 5 more people? Do you want to expand your business? Do you want to have a different revenue stream, for example? Do you want to change your offerings at that time? Do you want to be part of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce? You can go ahead and join. There you go. So they're different. Where do you vision yourself March of 2022, right? What do you see for yourself? Now, the interesting part of this is not just your business, but remember, we also had Cassie on doing a health one, a self-health for you managing your team. From a health perspective, where do you want to be? What are your goals for your health, for your physical being, your body? Where do you want to be a year from now? Do you want to talk to your doctor about that? I think that's a great place to start, probably. And then intellectually, where do you want to be? Do you want to have a different certification? Do you want to have a different accreditation? Do you want to enroll in some kind of program that's going to advance your knowledge base and your expertise in the company and what you're doing? Now, remember, I didn't say experience, I said expertise. They're 2 different things. So, you want to write down your vision for yourself and what your vision statement is. I mean, again, it's a personal thing. So, you can sit with this and just think about it and just write that down. So the next step, write these down. That's the next step. When you see it, write it down. That's why artists do what they do. And you can't buy the image of you can't buy the thought of what the artist had. That's why the artist sees it, they think it, and then they put it on their canvas, and then we pay high dollars for it. So write down your vision, right? I would also say if you have a cell phone, which I think most of us have, there's this really cool function called voice note or voice record. Just use that. If you're in the car and you're like, "Ooh, wait a minute, I have a great idea." Don't write it down when you're driving. Well, you shouldn't use your phone when you're driving anyway, but record it. Just say, "Hey, I thought of this on this day, and this is what I think, and record it. Sometimes you might be in a place where you don't have pen and paper. Your phone's there. Use the tools around you. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Then ask yourself this question: what will it take to get you there? When you write your vision down for 1 year, what will it take for you to get there? Is it more money? Is it you got to hire a business coach? Do you have to work with a CFO company? You know, do you have to write your business plan? Do you have to get rid of something? Do you have to remove a distraction? You know, is there something in your way that's like, okay, this is not working, get rid of it, because it's actually impacting your progress. What will it take to get you there? Besides a decision, what is that decision you have to make to get you there a year from now? So write that down and be honest with yourself. This is sort of like the self SWOT, the personal SWOT. What will it take to get you there? And then plan. We plan it. And I'm going to go right now into what I mean by plan. So what I mean by plan is this. Once we figure out where we kind of want to be in 1 year, and you do it with intentionality. This is like very serious. This is where I want to be in 1 year. You reverse engineer it and say, this is what I need to do day to day, right? If it's a new subject area, then maybe your daily plan might say, as an example, I need to read a chapter a day, or I may need to read 30 minutes a day on this piece of work that I'm trying to do. That's your daily plan, because you know in a year, I will have some level of expertise in this area. Once we do that, you move into your weekly plan. What is the weekly plan? What do I need to do on a week-to-week basis? Now I think you guys see where this is going, right? So what do you think the next one is? Monthly. What do I need to do on a monthly basis? Just once a month, what do I need to do to make this thing, this vision become a reality? So, you know, your daily plan could be 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. Your weekly plan might be, I need to do this 3 times a week or 4 times a week. Your monthly plan is, I need to do this twice a month, or I need to do this large thing once a month. You know, maybe it's a class that I have to do on a weekly basis. Or maybe on a weekly basis, I need to make 100 phone calls, or I need to market on a daily basis to my target market. Or I need to exercise on a weekly basis, for example. Monthly basis, okay, maybe, you know, I need to meet with I'll give you an example. I need to meet with 5 people on a monthly basis that I'm connected to on LinkedIn that will help me get to my goal. Okay, I'm just throwing out examples there just to kind of get you going. So the month, you know, you want to think of it that way. So what happens after monthly is quarterly. What's your quarterly plan? Right? For the next 3 months, what are we doing in the next quarter? What do we need to do to hit our goals for the next quarter? You know, think of it from a health side, your physical side, your spiritual side, your intellectual aspect, whatever aspect that you need to look at, you just reverse engineer it back into these particular time slots. And then you create your 1 year plan out of that. And then obviously you've now hit your 1 year plan. So your 1 year plan is yearly. So now that you know how to do this, you have a little bit of a process. Your next step really in the end of March 2022 is to do it all over again. Where am I going to be in March of 2023, or whatever date that you prefer? You can start from January to January, whatever date, whatever cycle that you would prefer. But the idea is to figure out where you want to be 1 year from now. And this is why we say we tie it all together within those topics. Are you going to update your business plan yearly? For example, that's a good one. Are you going to look at your financial projections yearly? You know, maybe you get maybe you get a physical once a year. You know, these are health things. So a healthy business owner is a healthy business. So you want to tie all this stuff together. Are you going to hire 5 people? That's a yearly plan. So then do it again, right? Dirty, wash, rinse, repeat. Dirty up, wash, rinse, repeat. It's like the clothes we wear. You know, we wear them, they get dirty, you wash it, you rinse it, you wear it again. It's the same thing. So this becomes habitual. This is kind of where you want to be habitually. Honestly, I track what I do on all these. So I have a metric tool that it's an Excel spreadsheet, very simple thing. I just give myself 1 point if I do it or 0 points if I don't do it. And I have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, and yearly goals, and I track it. So you certainly want to create something to say, this is how I track my daily goal. So did I exercise today for 30 minutes? Did I read today? You know, did I address my spirituality, for example? You know, I get a point for that. And then at the end of the week, the 7 days, because it's daily, I check. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm at 94% of what I've done. And for example, one of my daily goals is, you know, drink a gallon of water a day. Now, does it happen every day? No, at the end of the night, like 10 o'clock at night, I'm like 1 bottle left. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna be realistic. I can't do this. I'm gonna drown. So did I hit my goal? No. But was I close? Yeah. But did I hit my goal? No. But that's okay. I keep myself accountable because I have to report it on my Excel spreadsheet. Then I have my weekly goals, my monthly goals, my quarterly goals, and my yearly goals, and I track those. Yearly goals could be something like, do I take a family vacation? Do I take 10 days off for myself to recharge? You know, that's a goal. Every year you know, if that's part of your plan. You know, quarterly goals, for example, every quarter I have a long weekend. You know, from Thursday evening to Monday, quarterly, I do nothing. I just recharge because, you know, the 90 days is like a marathon. So you want to take a break for yourself in that marathon. And that's what I do every quarter. I just, when I say a break, I mean, you know, cell phone is pretty much not there. I tell my clients and everyone, I'll see you on Tuesday. This is my quarterly break. And you plan it. Now, what's really cool about this plan is you write it down, you put it on your calendar. Whatever accountability system you have, transfer it to your calendar. You know, what time do you wake up? That's on my calendar. What time do I go to bed? That's on my calendar. You know, what time do I do my daily goals? That's on my calendar. You know, what time is my lunch break? That's on my calendar. All of it's on my calendar. You know, weekly goals, that's on my calendar. When do I do it? And a lot of us work from home virtually a lot. So it's a lot easier. I don't have to drive, you know, to the gym. I don't have to drive to a client. It's like, okay, we can manage this. I can squeeze in a little bit more reading today. You know, I can read for maybe 5 more minutes or another 15 minutes and expand that goal. So you definitely want to take that and place it on your calendar. So again, write your 1 year plan. Just go ahead and write it out. You know, we're not looking for a dissertation, but you certainly want to write it out. Again, the second bullet was write these down. This bullet is write your 1 year plan down. Just write it down. So after you have it written down, here's where I think I'm going to challenge each and one of you. This is where you're going to be like, really? You serious about this? Yeah, I'm serious about this. When you write your 1 year plan down, who are you going to share your one year plan with? Now, what do you think happens when you share your plan with someone? I'll wait. Go ahead, Marianne. I didn't hear you. You're on mute.
success, I heard there was a Harvard study done, and the success rate of sharing it with someone else increases like 3 times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%, Marianne, 100% correct. When if you find someone, doesn't, you know who those folks are that you can share this with, and they won't look at you and say, that's nuts.
You
Go ahead, Marianne.
you also know who you can share it with, and they'll say, you are nuts. I don't know why you're bothering. What's your point? Yeah,
Exactly.
those are not the people we chat up, you know?
There you go. Well said, Marianne. The reason why you share it, there's a story that another coach shared with me. It's a very interesting perspective. They say, you know, think of telling a child, a young kid, when they're maybe 5 or 6 years old, and you can say, you tell them, hey, next summer we're going to the beach. The next day, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to be like, when are we going to the beach? They're keeping you accountable to that beach. You promised that kid, you promised your child, we're going to the beach, or we're going to some park, or we're going to a vacation spot. They will ask you, they will never forget. So the reason why you do the accountability is exactly what Mary Ellen said, is it increases your success rate by a factor of 3, but also that person will support you. They will say, hey, how's that daily reading going for 30 minutes? Where are you with that? They'll remind you, and a good team member will do that. But I also challenge you to do this. The person you're sharing your 1-year plan with, have them share their 1-year plan with you. So now you have a mutual accountability happening. Accountability is really for yourself. I mean, it's an interesting topic because, we can only keep ourselves accountable to a certain degree. And I truly believe that. It's like, if I'm going to do something, I have to do it. However, it's also good to build your community, your community of a few, to say, let's keep each other checking. Let's keep each other in check. And how do we help each other get to that 1-year goal? So that's where the community comes in. So you want to have the right people in your community who believe in your vision, and you believe in their vision, and you share each other's vision and 1-year plan, and then you move forward together. And then you move forward to say, this is how we can, hey, you need 10 clients in the next year? Hey, I can help you with that. And you help each other build each other's brand. Hey, you want to run a mile in a year? I can help you do that. Things like that. So you build your community, very tight-knit tribe, you build that community, and you just keep that going. So this is the part that I like a lot, because I have a community that I share my plans with and my vision with, and they're like, hey, how's that going? And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't do that today. All right, well, get on it. And I'm like, you're right. Yeah, you got it. I got it. I got to shape up or ship out. And it's a great group of individuals that small core group, but they push me, and I push them in our own loving way. We do it in a sense of love, in that sense, not a sense of like competition, but it's truly a sense of like, man, I believe in what you're doing. This is amazing. And I'm like, what you do is amazing as well. And you build that community. And that's just a great feeling, that sense of community. So that's kind of where I'm coming from in tying all this stuff together. So if your goal is to write that business plan and do these things and work with people, if you have to hire someone, by all means, invest in yourself. Hire that coach, hire that consultant, hire that CFO person, find someone, hire a life coach if you have to, because they help you work through this process. If you're in business, hire a business consultant. It's an investment. It's not an expense, because what they do for you is to grow your company. It's an investment. Find a good one. And if you need help, give me a call and we'll work it through. So that's the process. Before I move forward, any questions or comments on the process before we move forward on to the next part? Cool. Thank you.
I have one question.
Oh, sure.
So I know you were saying you do like your zeros and ones, you know, at the end of the year. So I guess what do you reward yourself if you meet them, or like is there a threshold? Yeah.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, well, you calling me out now. So yes, what I do is, yeah, every time I hit certain goals at a certain point, I do reward myself. For example, on I would buy myself a book that I had my eye on. I go to Amazon and I'm kind of like, "Ooh, I like these books," but I'm not going to buy them until I hit my goal. So it's kind of like a self-reward thing. And then I say, "Hey, yep, I did it. I got my goal. Boom." For example, on my health side, sometimes I'm like, "Wow, you know, I did really good. You know, I'm extremely healthy." Because I do a yearly physical. That's part of my yearly plan. And every time for the past, I don't know, God, how many, 10 years, um, I've been getting healthier and healthier because I've been exercising, eating right, you know, cutting a whole bunch of food out. And when my doctor sees my numbers, she's like, "Man, that's pretty impressive." She goes, "Just keep it up. Just keep doing what you're doing." And then I'm like, you know what? You know, I buy myself something sweet to eat. You know, it's like, okay, or something that, like, you know, ooh, I've been craving this. I'll just once a year, I'll just eat that, and then I'm good, and then I just work for that. So yeah, give yourself those winning things, whatever works for you. You know, it could be, but it has to be for you though. It has to be for you, because sometimes you're like, ooh, I won this, and I did my goal, and I've done this before. I'll take the whole family out to dinner. And then I realize, I'm like, they didn't work with me on this goal. It may sound selfish, but it's selfish. Sometimes you have to be selfish. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to say, hey, I worked hard on this goal. That's for me. I'm sorry. You know, I'm going to buy myself a new pair of sneakers. But it's the little things that just keep us going. So yeah, man, that's a great question, Charles. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to the pitch competition. So this is happening July 15th. As we get closer to July 15th, Pauline is gonna, I think, is it gonna be in the website, Pauline, or we haven't figured that out yet?
Figured that out yet. It depends on what the regulations are within the county and state.
Okay, all right. So that's true. That's very true. So in the pitch competition, I want to transition to this part of the webinar series. This is a competition, and we've had businesses in and out of the webinars. And we're going to start the next section, and that's going to be coming up soon. But the pitch competition is really about coming prepared in what you're asking for. So this is what I mean. So the first square this is about your ask, right? What are you asking for in the pitch competition? You're a business owner and you're asking your panel, and we're going to have a small panel, you're asking them a question. What is that question? Are you asking people, and again, this is sort of like, it's a scenario based, so we're definitely going to train people on this. So the idea is just to come up with your ask, but again, identify your target. So for example, if a business owner is asking for investment in their company, so then their target market for the ask is going to be financial investors. Yeah. If you're asking someone to buy my product, then your target market's going to be prospects. Yeah. So understand and be very focused on what your question is and who you're asking that question to. And you have to let us know who we are. Because you can even say, hey, my target market is my family, and I really want them to invest in my company. Okay, great. Let's hear your pitch from that perspective. We'll put those lenses on, and then we go from there. The time limit is 4 minutes. right? So you'll have 4 minutes to 4 minutes or less. We're not going to keep you to 4 minutes, but 4 minutes or less to create your pitch to the panel. I'm going to be in a panel. Pauline is going to be in a panel. We're going to ask a few other folks to be in a panel, and then we'll go from there. Now, I wrote in here optional visual aids, so you can use a PowerPoint. You can even do yourself, and you can even add a video. So if you have a video of like 30 seconds, or you can do a video in 4 minutes, it's up to you. Be creative. You know, we're looking for that creativity. Does it have to be PowerPoint? Nope. There's some other slide shows you can do out there. Use that. Could you, here's one. Could you use other people as a visual aid? Things like that. Could you use your product if you're selling soap, for example? Could you bring us your soap and show us your soap? Things like that. So be creative in that optional visual aid part of it. And I mentioned this before in the lower left corner, the panel members will play the role of your target. So you tell us who you want us to be. Okay, and then we would listen through that lens and experience your pitch through that lens. So at the end of your presentation, we'll ask you questions based on your presentation. We'll ask you questions, for example. So when do you expect to hit your financial goal, for example? Could you tell us more about your business? Could you, whatever you have, we'll ask questions. Could you, for example, how are you getting clients right now, for example? What's your sales? What's your marketing technique, or things like that? Because there's more information that we need to have before someone invests in your company. All right. And we're not sure how long it's going to take. That's why I have it there for 4 minutes, because we have a 2-hour window and we want to give feedback to everyone. So that's why it's 4 minutes. Then the panel will select the top 3 pitches. So the goal is to actually work as a panel, and I'll probably create a small text group or something, or a WhatsApp group, and we'll talk to each other to grade each person. We'll have a grading sheet, and I think that has to be, Pauline, correct me if I'm wrong, we will definitely have to show what the grading criteria is before the pitch competition, so we have full transparency.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and we'll work out that particular detail, but we definitely want to be fair with everyone. And then we have prizes. I put prizes question mark because I wasn't sure if I wanted to share the prize right now, but I've been selling it. But yeah, we're going to pick the top 3, and we actually have 3 cash prizes for first, second, and third place, or the top 3 folks, and we will rate them accordingly. And the prizes will be used to grow your business and for your business expansion and your operations. So we really want to see some great pitches out there. If one of the criteria that we're asking for people to be in this pitch competition is to at least have been to some of these webinars. Correct, Pauline? Yeah. So we definitely want people to be part of the webinars. And also enroll and sign up for the pitch competition. Now, again, this is strictly voluntary. We're not telling everyone to do this. It's up to you. But we would love to see a lot of our members and our attendees and our people who engage to come back and take part of this pitch competition July 15th. And I think it's going to be the same time from 5 to 7. So I think it'll be fun. I look forward to it. And the prizes will come from my company. We're setting that up to do those cash prizes, and we're going to be very unique in how we deliver those cash prizes to you. And I certainly look forward to it. I've been in a number of pitch competitions, and they were always fun, very, very educational. Businesses got a lot out of it, and probably one of the best pitches I've seen ever, honest to goodness. And I haven't seen all pitches, let's just be fair, but the ones that I've been exposed to was from Damon John. I've been trying to get my hands on the video of his pitch competition his pitch, not a competition, but he did at an SBDC presentation that he did, and he did his pitch competition when he was starting off with FUBU, and he did it, and it was just amazing. It was just such a, it hit every single point, and it was so convincing that he wasn't selling at all. When you heard it, it just felt like, I'll give you my money. You know, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. And that's how well it was. And I've been looking for that video snippet, and I haven't found it. I've been asking other folks, please let me have that snippet. So the minute I get it, I definitely want to share it with the chamber and get it out to everyone, because that pitch presentation that Damon John did was just, it was just outstanding. It was just great. It was very, very inspirational to see it. So any questions on the pitch competition? No, pretty clear. All right. Marianne, you're going to get your clients to do at least a couple webinars so that they can have a chance to.
I'll see what I can do.
There you go. I know Charles is going to do it, so I'm looking forward to that one. So there you go.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun. So we look forward to it. So, well, this is sort of like the last slide. So what I want to do right now is just really, really, really thank the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce. They put this together. I can't say really, really, really enough. That's really, really, really redundant. But I really, I want to say thank you to Pauline and Terry, the president of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce, you know, for just believing in the program that I submitted to them, you know, I think it was almost a year ago now, and just saying, hey, let's do this. This is going to be fun. It's going to be great. A lot of people are going to get a lot out of it. I believe in my team. I have a great team. I could not have done this without all of the other counselors and consultants and coaches and business owners who were part of this process. You know, I'm just happy to do this, and I'm so excited to be doing this starting again April 15th. A lot of the topics, again, it's going to be the same structure. It's a programmatic approach. We're going to do this weekly for like 12 weeks, and then the 13th week, July 15th, we're going to do the pitch competition. So again, the topics, generally speaking, are going to be, again, goal setting, business planning. We're going to talk about financial literacy. We're going to change every single slide will change. It's not going to be the same thing. We're doing things a little bit different because, again, we started in January, now it's March. We're going to be editing a lot of the slides, maybe updating some of the information, for example, to make it fresh, to make it dated, for example, to keep it up to date in a recency level, for example. You know, I'm doing some research now on what business plans are out there and how things have changed. I actually changed some of my business planning templates. Not the template, I'm sorry, but the system that I use. I've actually switched to a different system. I'm going to be talking about that system and how others can actually use it. The cool thing about this is in the first session, some people were asking for some QuickBooks training. So we have, you know, Manny Cosme, who's coming back to do 2 sessions on hands-on QuickBooks training. So we're getting in the grass and the weeds of actually looking at the functionality of QuickBooks and in 2 sessions back to back. So that's about 4 hours of QuickBooks training. So we definitely want as many people on there as possible because that one was really requested. You know, we're going to go back and talk. Roderick's going to come back and talk about the PPP and the EIDL. I'm going to go back to financial literacy. Charles Mott is going to be back talking a little bit more about financial literacy. You know, now we're going back to team management. Kessie's going to be back. She's going to be talking about how to manage a team during the pandemic and now post-pandemic, hopefully, cross our fingers, later in the summer, and talk about that team management aspect and having a healthy team and how to keep some people happy and the workers, employees happy. Carolina will be back, food industry focus. She's been working really hard in looking at the food industry across the Northeast and pretty much across the US and what restaurants are doing. She's working with a lot of restaurants in DC area, marketing them and working with them to stay alive, really. She's doing a great job on that. and she has a lot of great ideas in terms of her analysis of what she's seen. Marketing gold. I call it marketing gold. Dr. Levin is going to be back. Dr. T, she's going to be back talking about how to really get into the weeds of getting clients into your sales funnel. That's going to be really cool. Tax strategies. This is a new one. We didn't do this in section 1, but we talked about financial literacy. We wanted to change a little bit into this section. We have a good buddy of mine named Ardell Powell. When you hear his accent, you'll understand where he's from. Really, really intelligent guy. He's on LinkedIn. If you look him up on LinkedIn, you can see some of his work that he's done with clients on tax strategy. Really cool stuff. Some things I've learned from him. One of the things that he talked about was if you invested in certain tax strategies through an insurance perspective at the age of 20, by the age of 40, you would have had X amount of dollars. And the first thing I said was, wow, that would have been a great strategy when I was 20. But I'm always 20, so we can always start today. I didn't hear you, Mary. You're on mute.
I said, but alas, I'm 40.
Exactly. I'm just 20 twice. So, and then we're going to go back again and talk about, Pauline says 3 times. I don't think so. Then we're going to go back and talk about exiting your business. Because again, there's some things we kept that in there because we want people to really think hard about planning with the end in sight. Yeah. And I'm also doing some research to find other strategies to finding ways to exit your business besides what I already shared. You want to say something, Marianne?
I want to thank you both very much for having this. I've got to run. There's 3 Zooms back to back, 4, 5, and 6. And so okay. I thank you so much. And I appreciate this slide, and I will look in for April the 15th. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure to meet everybody.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you. Take care.
Appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So once we finish talking about exiting your business, again, we're going to come back and tie it all over again. And after that, it's the July 15th is the pitch competition. So we're going to figure out a way how to sign up, either through the chamber or maybe through an email. I'm not sure how we're going to have a sign up for it. I don't think you would have to register for that particular webinar. I think it's maybe just to sign up. And then I guess once you sign up, you'll get the webinar link. That might be one way of doing it, Pauline. So we'll figure it out.
Correct. We have 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have between now and July 15th. So I don't think it's a big deal to figure. This is pretty easy. So with that, I really want to say just thank you for everyone who's watching. Thank you everyone who was here and they were highly engaged. Everyone had a hand in this, making this a very successful program. We look forward to having more of you who are watching this as business owners come back, talk. In the next section, we will be doing things differently. So I look forward to it. So I'm going to turn it over to Pauline. And I want to say, thanks again, Pauline, and everyone who's here. So, not to put pressure on Charles, but I look forward to your pitch July 15th. So you better be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm learning a lot,
All right, man. I appreciate that.
So.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that. That's good to know. That's good. Oh, we try. All right, Pauline, that's all yours. Take it. I'm going to stop share. So take it over.
Okay. I always look forward to seeing Charles's name. I'm going to launch the poll.
Yeah, mute.
As I took my finger off the bar. I just want to say thank you for joining us today. And if you could take a moment and answer the exit poll questions. Another informative webinar by 1917. Thank you, William. Always a pleasure to have you. And to finish up this series of webinars, we're looking forward to, in 2 weeks, starting our next series. So again, thank you. And now more than ever, we need our business.
Yeah. And yeah, you kind of went muted there at the last part, Pauline. But I just wanted to say, if you look on your screen, this is the YouTube page that I want to say Pauline set up, and all the videos are up every week. So we did the videos on Thursday. They're recorded on the Thursday. and Pauline and her team did just an outstanding job in getting the videos up to the website by Monday, the latest. I think that the latest one was Monday evening. Everything else was there before. So Pauline, just an amazing job. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. And there was some editing in there for example, like when I sneezed, you edit that out. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But great job. You and your team just did an outstanding job in doing this. So, you know, this is a huge win for the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce. And I want to say thank you again for you guys putting this together.
Oh, thank you so much, Eric. And we appreciate you too. Nobody more that I would trust this with than you. And again, Charles, thank you for joining us. I'm going to actually hit the pause on the recording.
Cool.
Thank you. Have a good evening.